Welcome into another game stream preview. I'm Doug Branson from the Locked On Hornets podcast. Basically, this is where I come on, play a little 2K, play out the matchup, I talk a little bit, I try not to embarrass myself on NBA 2K. I'm working on it. I've been in the gym. I've been blown out a few times on here, although to my credit, when I've lost on here, the Hornets have lost. And I played a lot of away games. Now I finally get to play a home game. So do the Hornets. They play tonight against the Indiana Pacers. But more importantly, I get to hang out with people who like the show. They come on, they chat. So welcome in. Hit me up in the chat. I've got it up right now. We're going to take a look at these teams. I'm going to get a tweet out and get the Locked On Hornets account to retweet it so that I can get some folks in here. Topo, what's going on? Hit up the chat with your questions about tonight's matchup against the Indiana Pacers. Hornets, it's going to be a tough matchup. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This Indiana Pacers team, they play fast. They hit a lot of three-point shots. The Hornets have not hit a lot of three-point shots this season. Three-point shooting has been an issue, which is crazy. It's a little crazy. It's crazy when you think about it from this respect. This was one of the better three-point shooting teams in volume and percentage last season. This season, they haven't had LaMelo Ball, and LaMelo Ball was one of their better catch-and-shoot and pull-up three-point shooters. So obviously it was going to take a dip, but players that were consistently knocking down three-point shots, some of them have been asked to do a little bit more, like P.J. Washington, so maybe that's affected his shot, and some are just simply not coming through, like Terry Rozier. His three-point percentage certainly down from a year ago. So they've got to get some guys to step up on that particular part of the floor, or it will be a long night versus the Indiana Pacers. So again, hit up the chat. Let me know your questions. Let me know your comments. We had a good show today. I want to pull up that as well. Get this retweet out here from the Locked On Hornets podcast. I want to pull up some comments from the show today. It's kind of, I don't think we talked about this. Well, we talked about Walker, my co-host, getting the gig at WFNZ, the Wes and Walker show from 12 to 3 on WFNZ. Check him out. Doing a great job there. But what it has done is allowed us to start doing the show in the mornings. So you're getting morning Walker. We were doing the show in the afternoons to accommodate for Walker's schedule and posting it the next day, but we get to be a little bit more fresh, a little bit more current with the shows, and then I can come on here in the afternoon and do a little bit of a preview. So, I want to look at some of the comments from today's show. Pull that up and take a few of those. Mellow One of One says, love this podcast. Thank you, Mellow One of One. Reese says, can we please run the advanced stats on the occurrence of reverse Plumlee jams and Hornets wins? Any correlation there? Really, really important work. Reese makes a great point. We've got to find out. That's the only advanced stat that matters. When Mason Plumlee gets an opportunity to ram jam it reverse style, does that equate to a Hornets win? Now, on everyhornetsboxscore.com, which is my Substack, which you can go and subscribe to for free, and you get a bunch of stuff. If you give me a few bucks every month, you get my game notes. You get to explore my notebook. It's the notebook that I use to prep for every Locked On Hornets show. It's really in-depth. It's a cool way. If you miss a game or maybe you miss a moment and you want to go take a look at the log, and easy way to kind of find some of the best plays. I post highlights, that kind of thing. So on everyhornetsboxscore.com, I am tracking the tips, because I've always been interested. Like, I know it's probably not going to correlate to wins necessarily. It's probably just it's a random event within one game. It's not going to necessarily equate to wins, but I've always just been super interested in how that works. Okay, so other comments from this show. Micah thumbs upping Walker's sweatshirt. Queen City Hornets said LaMelo going to drop 30 tonight. Well, he averages over 28 points per game against the Indiana Pacers. So if there were ever going to be a night where LaMelo has a get-right game, you've got to think that this is going – I mean, there's just something about this team. And he's done it against, most of these players before. Last season, 4 games, 4-0 against the Indiana Pacers. There was just something about playing this team that they like. And look, this team doesn't play a lot of defense, 114 defensive rating, they have the ability to not play defense, if you will, because early in the season they really weren't. in November so far, where they're 3-1, they have stepped up the defense. In fact, they're one of the more balanced teams in the NBA, which makes me a little scared to play this game, but we're going to do it. So I'm going to load up the roster here. I customize the rosters because NBA 2K is just not it's not their fault. The Hornets are just 1 in, 1 out. So it's tough to keep up with all of the injuries and the people coming in. So I go ahead and customize the rosters for both of the teams based on the latest injury report I have. So this should generally, now I didn't look. I did sub in Andrew Nebhard. I really hope I'm getting that name right. I don't know the correct. I'm just really just going by the letters, just phonetically. That looks like Andrew Nebhard. If you think I'm mispronouncing it, let me know. If you're a big Gonzaga fan and you want to correct me on the pronunciation of it, please let me know. But this is one of the more balanced teams in the NBA, the Indiana Pacers, over the past couple of games. They're right there with the Golden State Warriors. And, again, a lot of it's three-point shooting, but they have turned up the defense as well. So this is going to be a tough matchup for me. So I'm just trying to lay – it's like when you go into a political debate and you really want to lower expectations. You don't want to hype. Going into a political debate, if you really care about you winning elections, you don't want to hype up yourself, honestly. You want to lower expectations so that when you do beat them so really, expectations right now, I think not to get defeated by 10 or more. If I can keep the margin of defeat, look, if I win, I win. I'm not going to totally discount that as a possibility. I always believe myself. But I want to really aim for, because I'm making progress this season. This is what Coach Clifford always talks about. Make progress. Turn that PA announcer down. Okay, he just said Andrew Nemhard, so I think I'm right on that. It's weird that the PA announcer, I guess, changes because they have done a good job of getting some of the more famous PA announcers in, and so Big Pat is on the mic here. So maybe you can hear him. I don't know. I've turned it down a little bit, but I can hear him. And but not announcing the opponent players, interestingly enough. I guess they just brought all the announcers in to do only the team. Eric saying, go Hornets. That's what I like to see. Breyer says, Topo! Got a Topo from Walker. Yeah, here we go. People starting to pile in now. Let me know. Let me get your questions about the team right now. Questions about LaMelo's return. Questions about the Indiana Pacers. They play fast. They shoot a lot of threes. I'm going to have to play good defense in this one, which has been a problem for me. I'm going to try to stay off ball. And I'm going to be, I think, for one of the quarters, I'm going to say the third quarter, I'm going to go on ball and player lock myself to LaMelo Ball and see how that goes, just as an experiment. Oh, okay. Oh, look at that. Right to the rim with LaMelo Ball. I was looking for the pass there, but they gave me the lane. I'm going to take it. Big key to the game for me. This is really not about the Hornets, although the Hornets have struggled from the free throw line. But a big key for me is going to be knocking down my free throws with every player, even the players that are good at knocking down free throws. See. It's a mental thing for me. I think about it, and then I'm scared I'm going to overshoot it, and I undershoot it. I'm going to go ahead and make a settings change right now. I'm going to turn that shot meter to free throw only. Okay, perfect. Just double checking. Let's get some questions here while I have it on pause. Slat says, do you think the G League is helping Mark Williams? The team certainly thinks it's helping him just to get reps because, and I think that's why they have Kai up, because Kai has gotten a lot of G League experience, and it's probably best for him to just be available to get some NBA experience now, and he got a few minutes, and certainly if an injury occurs, I think they would probably look to Kai first. But yeah, I think it's absolutely good for him to get the reps. Now, I wouldn't I wouldn't look at the stats that he's putting up and sort of I don't know, just sort of think that means that he's like, oh man, he's putting up 30 in the G League, he's ready. It's just a totally different game. And they're looking for certain things in his game. I think mostly in the physicality department, not getting moved out of the lane so easily, especially rebounding. I think they're looking for a couple of those things. I think obviously they're looking for shooting too, because Clifford, every time you talk to him about Mark Williams, he talks about the shooting. So I think, they feel like that's going to be a key to getting him early NBA run. And they'll be looking at that too in the G League. So if he's going, if he's going to put up some stuff, go ahead and put it up in the G League. I mean, the wins and losses are not really what it's about in the G League. Oh man, got pushed out. Speaking of getting pushed out of the lane. Oh, look at that. Okay, folks, if you've been watching these series of game streams, I've been pretty awful at shooting, almost as awful as the Charlotte Hornets have been in real life. And I've been practicing a little bit, and turning off the meters has absolutely revolutionized my game. Now, again, here I go trying to overpromise. I'm going to work here, see if I can get LaMelo going off ball. Oh, caught him moving. You see, it's a game of inches, folks. He takes one step in. Terry drawing the defense down. That's all it takes. Kick it out to the corner. I'm running simple offense right now, folks. And just trying to play defense off ball. Oh, look at that. Steal. Get it out. Get it out. Oh, Kelly. Easy. Easy. Buddy Hield don't want any of that. Buddy's a shooter. Buddy's a shooter. He's not defending in transition. Come on. They don't pay Buddy the big bucks to foul Kelly Oubre in transition. I'm sorry. I see. Okay, so I've been thinking about how these streams are going to go. Offensive 3 seconds. Look at this. I have got them flummoxed. This Indiana Pacers starting unit, folks, is one of the best starting units in the NBA in the association. Positive 20s across the board in terms of on-off and point differential when the starters are on the floor. Get it? Man, PJ's really having a bit of a tough time catching and getting set. Mason getting handsy. Don't slap down, buddy. So I've been thinking about how I want to do this, and so I think I'm going to do a little bit more pausing, a little bit more languishing in the quarter breaks so I can take some more questions so I'm not constantly looking down. I'm trying to win basketball games for you folks because my predictions. Oh, look at that steal in the. Oh, Point Plumlee. Give it. Yam it. Whoa. Mason Plumlee with the Mason yammer. The yammer. Baby, Point Plumlee giveth. He says, I don't care if LaMelo's back. I'm still the point guard. I'm still the captain now. All right, I'm going to languish in this timeout and answer some questions. Melo, 1 of 1. I'm early this time. I hope you caught it early because I shouted you out for your comment on this episode this morning. So thank you, Melo, 1 of 1, for saying you love the show. We really appreciate your support. And Melo, yeah, the meter was messing me up. It was absolutely destroying me. It's the same. I'd probably need to just turn it off on free throws, but I feel like I don't know. I need to memorize their free throw, their free throw looks so that I know. So I'm leaving the meter on there for now. Is Victor Wembanyama worth tanking, and do you think the Hornets will tank? Is he worth tanking? Yeah. I mean, he's going to absolutely change a franchise. I mean, he's the surest bet that we've seen in quite a while. Scoot Henderson, honestly, even if you tank and you end up with the second place prize, Scoot Henderson, I think, can do it on both ends of the floor. He's going to make a massive difference to whatever franchise he lands with. So is it worth it? Yes. Will they do it? I don't think so because, I think they're trying to see if they've got a roster here, and they don't want to waste an entire year purposely moving play. And honestly, they can't tank right now, especially once they get healthy, because they're just too good. Like, players are not going to tank. Players don't tank. It's organizational choices that make the tank. You look at the Jazz. The Jazz are too good to tank. They're not this good, but they're too good to tank because of the talent that they have on the roster. Everyone said going into the season, even though this has been surprising for the Utah Jazz, everyone going into the season that I was reading was going, the Jazz probably need to make a few more trades if they're really serious about getting to the bottom of the league. So there's 2 reasons why I think the Hornets are too good to tank. One, they've got enough talent, especially shooting talent, once they get healthy. And they've been, look at that Mason. I think he's got 3 steals so far. Also, they've been together for a while. Like, again, unless injuries just continue to completely decimate things. I'm going to try to do this right here. I think that's early. Unless injuries continue to decimate the team, I mean, once they get healthy, they've just been playing together long enough, and I think Clifford has been working with them on a few things. Defensively, you've seen improvements even with the absences. So I just think they're too good to tank unless they make some moves. So if the organization, after they get the full deck of cards back, decides, all right, this team is not going to make that sort of patented second half of the season run that we've seen from other Clifford teams, then maybe they look at that point to make a move. And then, can you get Gordon back long enough to actually entice a team and say, all right, he's healthy and he can give you enough games to get you to the playoffs? Can you move Terry in that same kind of fashion? Terry's got to get back. Here's one reason why they can't tank is I think it would be tough to move Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier right now. You need a little bit more, a better audition from Terry Rozier and to get Gordon healthy. So I think all of those reasons are really limiting the Hornets' ability to be that bad. Now, if the injuries continue, if the team completely loses faith in the whole idea of the season, which hasn't happened at this point. I mean, even with the losing streak, the 8-game losing streak, the Hornets have generally, the effort's been there, the intensity's been there, the execution hasn't always been there. It hasn't been there for the full 48, but you can see it in moments. Oh my God. He didn't finish the cut. Terry's got to finish the cut. He faked me out. Good foul, Jalen. Don't let him get it easy. Can Kai develop into the kind of guy that we need for some help on and off the boards? Certainly I think there's a possibility. I mean, his athleticism is just off the charts for his position. And, I think he showed in just that little brief span that, he can come in and make a difference and play the way that Clifford wants him to play. If he can do that, then he's going to get more opportunities. But, so much of it is opportunity. It's, right now, Nick Richards and Mason Plumlee are part of the rotation. And that's not going to change this season unless one of them gets injured and you have an opportunity to put Kai in or one of them gets traded. If they feel like they can maximize Nick Richards' value and bring back a couple of picks as part of a wider tank, then that's what you would want it. Because I don't think that, there's. Oh, I should have put that up. My fault, Nick. Oh, Terry. Nice. I mean, we are dominating the offensive boards right now. That's going to be key for the Charlotte Hornets tonight. Their half-court offense still stinks, even with LaMelo back. Maybe they improve that tonight. But it's been all about the putback game when they're doing well at putting the ball back on offensive rebound opportunities. This is a solid. It's an average offense. Oh, I thought that was going in. Now when I don't get the cutaway, I just assume it's not going in. So can Kai develop? Oh, that was my fault. Can Kai develop? Yes. Will he? We just really have to wait and see when he gets the next opportunity, what he does with it in the NBA. Get fouled, Kelly. DeGoat C says, you on next gen? Yes. Xbox Series X. I am too embedded. I consider PS5, but I'm too embedded in Xbox Game Pass and all of the Microsoft world. Even though I'm a Mac guy when it comes to computers and things that actually produce content on. Oh, man. All right. There I go again. See, some of these guys have like really long uptakes and like the meter doesn't show up for a while. I'm making excuses. I'm the Hornets. Dude, okay. This is something I didn't know. Now, I ran this game, in all honesty, I ran this game already and practiced because I got tired of getting clowned on here. See, that kind of, now Jalen missed it, but that kind of veteran savvy move there. Can we get it out of the paint? I did practice this game, and Goga Batadze can hit three-point shots. I didn't know that. And that's kind of the cool thing about doing these things, is sometimes in the playing of the game, I have something revealed to me. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Book. I wanted to get inside with the Book. Book's kind of a cheat code on here. He doesn't get, I've adjusted the rotation where he's not going to get many minutes in this one, just to reflect what happened in the last game. If that carries over, it may not carry over, but if it does, I've got it reflected here in the rotation. But he's kind of a cheat code on this game, honestly. Like, he can get to the rack and do some kind of cool moves that you've seen before. We've certainly seen Book make the amazing move to the rim, but not necessarily seen it consistently. Vonda, what do you think they need to do to get better on offense? Get healthier. And really, I mean, a lot of it comes down to shot making. We went over this a couple of shows ago. They're getting good looks. They're getting open looks. They're just missing them. I think a lot of things are adjusting, right? You're going to see Mason Plumlee be a lot less involved as a point guard. You're going to see P.J. Washington probably look more like the P.J. Washington of last season, where it's lower usage, but they're getting him more pick and pop opportunities, driving, kicking out to him at the top of the three-point line. And so hopefully he gets kind of back into a groove that he was in for portions of last season when he's not being asked to do so much. LaMelo has to start hitting three-point shots. So, if one or two players start knocking down shots in a similar way that Kelly Oubre has done, he's had a couple of 1 of 11 like head scratchers, but generally his three-point shooting has been consistent. Like, if you get a few more players doing that, the offense, yes, this is at the pro level a game of inches. It's a complex game. They're running a lot of action out there sometimes, and then a lot of other times it's jazz. It's guys, just trying to beat their man, get inside, then kick it out, make the right read. But the modern NBA game today, I kept making this kind of observation that the Hornets win the battle in the paint. They win the battle on the boards, effort, getting those boards, and knocking down second chance points. Great. They're pushing the pace, moving the ball, assists, 27 assists for the game. Great. All that awesome. They get doubled up in three-point makes and they lose the game. So now that didn't happen against Orlando. The rare opportunity where the team outshoots you because they turn the basketball over so much. So I think that's it. I think the other thing, Vonda, is protecting possessions. Been too many just sort of mental errors, talking bad screens, lazy passes, those kind of things where you're not honoring possessions. Some teams don't have to honor possessions, to be honest. Like, there are teams out there with enough talent, enough shot making, enough like one-on-one shot making where you don't have to constantly create or constantly push the pace. Kevin Durant, kind of thing where you just give him the ball and he goes to get you a bucket. There's teams that don't have to honor every possession. The Hornets really have to honor every possession, especially when they have a lead. They weren't honoring it in the second half against Orlando. So I think that would help them as well. Mello 1 of 1 says, maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment, but I kind of wish Teo wasn't a two-way and could take Book Knight's spot. I don't see that happening. But it will, at some point they'll have to make a call on Teo. With the two-way contract. I think there's a certain threshold of minutes and games played that they will have to make but I don't think it's going to happen very soon. So Ethan kind of on top of that saying, is Kai someone we should be playing more? No. But if he was a great three-point shooter, I would say sure, because that would give you an element. You could maybe do some Twin Tower stuff, but he's not, or at least he hasn't shown that on the floor. If the Hornets know that and they're benching him, then that would be silly because they kind of they don't have an ability right now to play 5 out and play defense. So if Kai were a great shooter, that would give you something that you don't have with Mason and Nick, and you could play 5 out. So, and I think that's something Clifford would want to do. So that leads me to believe that Kai actually still cannot shoot three-pointers with any kind of regularity. So, you know, I think Nick and Mason give you things along with a familiarity with the system that Kai is just not going to give you. And he's still, look, Kai's still young. It's not like, you know, next year he turns into a pumpkin and you got to, you know, get rid of him forever. So, 12B Kirby, Topo! Here we go. Let's do the second quarter. I like this. I like pausing and answering a few questions. I think this is the groove that I'm liking here. I'm also liking being up 16-11. But if I give up possessions like that on the defensive end and let my guy blow by me, I will not be up for very long. But a good first quarter. Corner three, pop. Oh man. I'm telling you, get rid of the shot meter and you start making shots. How crazy is that? I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't listen to people. I said, no, I'm just trying to keep it on for a little bit longer and finally, oh man. Okay. I tried to get to the help defender there, PJ, because McDaniel's running off that screen and was just, what's weird to me in this game, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but look at Jalen. Jalen is so big. It's like, certainly they're going off of like, you know, how big they are, how big they're listed, but he looks so much bigger than he is in. Oh, release. Oh, look at that. In contact. Book Knight. If Book Knight would just focus on that and that alone. But the shot is too tempting, and the shot isn't there, unfortunately. Oh, good D. Good D. Try to get out. Can he go? Can't get it one-on-one, though. Whoa, okay. I don't know why he popped there when he had a free lane. Sometimes the AI on this game, if I'm coaching this team, I'm like, PJ, why did you pop there? You had an open lane. Nemhard. Sorry, buddy. No can do. Oh. Look at Teo. Look at Teo. Oh, man, good behind-the-back dribble move there to get open. Couldn't finish with the floater, but that's okay. All right, so Benedict Mathurin here. High draft pick. Started off the season really well. Still playing well. Interesting that they're starting Nemhard, their second-round pick. But Benedict Mathurin, they just, I don't know, they just like what he's giving them off the bench. And go all the way. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Miles absolutely erased that. Look at that D. Good D. Got to have somebody on the back side, though. Three of us trying to defend the rim. Timeout. Let me look at some questions here. I need LaMelo to get 100% so he can stop chucking threes. Yeah. I mean, you wonder, right? You wonder if, I mean, he had 15 three-point attempts. You wonder if, you know, he's a little bit worried about going full speed at the rim, how he comes down. I mean, that's how he got injured. He was going full speed, stepped on a foot against Washington in the preseason. That's how he turned that ankle. Is there, I don't think, you know, to me, when I watch, it doesn't appear to be limiting him physically. But with those kind of injuries, you know, sometimes I think it can limit you mentally a little bit in terms of, all right, I'm not 100, it's not 100%. I know that I don't want to re-injure it, so I'm going to limit the things that I do. So yeah, I mean, you're maybe right. Some of the 3-point volume could come via that. But again, this is a great opportunity for him. He loves to play Indiana. Ethan, will the Hornets look to bring someone in, or are they just going to play their game without any moves again? You should do a rebuild with the Hornets. Will they look to bring someone in? I mean, they'd have to, again, in the next 20, 30 games, try to get Gordon back. Like, you don't necessarily need Cody back to make a determination. Man, Miles is eliminating me. You don't need to make that determination, but if you can get Gordon back and then decide, hey, is this a team actually worth investing in? That's really what it's all about. Oh, finally, LaMelo stole a rebound from Plumlee. Oh, right at Miles Turner. Oh, Plumlee, come on, dude. Oh, Plumlee. Why? We're just missing the bunny. Good D there though, to help LaMelo. All right, let's actually run something here. Let's run this. Let's see what happens here. All right, screen. Okay, all right. I don't know what Buddy was thinking there, if he thought somebody was on the baseline to help. But Rozier puts me back on the line, which is probably the right move if you're the Pacers. No, got to think positively. Think positively. You can knock these down. Here we go. Oh, my God. Okay. See, I'm going to take that into the next free throw opportunity. That's a win right there. One of these games is going to come down to free throw shooting. I just know it. It might be this one. We're running pretty close right now, 22-17. I looked away for 2 seconds and Nemhard got me. Okay, we're gonna run something for LaMelo here. Let's run a little give and go. We're gonna give it. LaMelo couldn't really get open there. Oh, LaMelo bobbled. That was a tough pass. Tried to work it in there with Terry and LaMelo, a little two-man game. Okay. All right, let's run something for LaMelo again. Let's run some floppy, see if I can get him on a shot here. A little screen for LaMelo, and he's going to pop off. Oh, my God. Oh! Man, good look, though. Good play run there, right to the end of the... Oh, man. Got to finish. Good look there in the corner, though. Love that execution. Sometimes, like, you'll run those plays, and maddeningly, they'll be, like, 1 foot on the line. Man, that LaMelo has like 2 shots, a wide open shot that you really have to hold on for just a second, and then that shot, the catch and shoot shot, is like instant. You have to release the ball. But isn't it? Oh, look at. Oh, do it. Mason's killing me. Melo says just tell Del Sue. Okay, here we go. All right, taking a lead into the half, folks, 24-19. Oh, man, I almost had 25. So a half is essentially a quarter because I play in these 6-minute quarters, right? So 25, I mean, great defense to hold them to 19, number one. Doing a lot to limit the guards. I mean, what are my stats right now? Let's see what I've done here with the Pacers. Hields 3 of 8, not letting him get good looks. Jalen McDaniels was really good defensively in that. I'm telling you, Batatse, watch him at the three-point line. You cannot give him looks. He will knock them down. If 2K is representative of real life, go guard him at the three-point line because he roasted me in a practice game that I did. Miles Turner, 2 turnovers, only 2 points. Mathurin didn't really get involved, but this is the big one, 0 for 4 for Halliburton. I mean, that's going to be a dream quarter if the Hornets can pull that off. John saying, I'm very interested to see if DSJ can work out as our 6th man. Personally think he's a better defender and overall player than Cody Martin. Also, how would he pair with LaMelo? Could it work? Should Hornets sign him to a 1 or 2 year deal? Yeah, okay, so there's a couple of things in there. I agree with you that I think he could be a perfect 6th man, or at least maybe similar to what they did last season with Cody Martin and Kelly Oubre, a sort of hybrid six-man where you have Kelly in for the offense and then DSJ in for the defense. Because, I don't know if depending on DSJ for a ton of offense is like the best thing to do, because number one, you want him focused on the defensive end and not worn out carrying a heavy offensive load. And number two, I think there are still some questions about his offense that are unanswered because he wasn't as aggressive offensively, even with all the absences. A share of those shots really went to PJ and not to DSJ. So yes, I think he can be like a great hybrid six-man. I'm not sure that he would like compete for sixth man of the year. Now he could compete if he gets back. He could compete for defensive player of the year. It'd be tough though from the bench. Like I'd have to look and see how often that happens, but I would think defensive player of the year, more than likely a starter, not a sixth man type of minutes role. Can be a better overall defender than Cody Martin. Yeah, you're right. I mean, totally. I mean, I think he showed that in just that little sample size that we've had so far in the season. It's the ball pressure. It's the ability to guard a guard. I mean, Cody Martin on the opposing player's point guard is not something you typically saw last year. He's a wing defender. So it's a little different, but DSJ is probably more valuable as a defender because of what he can do at the point of attack, which is something that the Hornets are super weak at. So I think he's more valuable and just a kind of different sort of defender, getting steals, getting up in your shirt. Cody, I think, is a good, like, contained defender, knows where to be, a good mental defender, can play sort of great team defense, and get steals. I mean, he was a steal machine. Him and LaMelo, I think, were a big part of why they were so good in transition last season. And Mason, too, honestly. I mean, Mason gets a lot of steals up top. Everybody hates it when I talk anything good about Mason, but he does have some value. It's just obviously you'd want somebody like a Miles Turner or a better big in there, but he does give you something relative to the kind of game that you're trying to play. Should the Hornets sign him to a 1 or 2 year deal? Yeah, that's the tough question, I think, because he's obviously played well enough that you'd want him to be part of the team in the future. But I think back to the Jeremy Lin situation where, he had that flash and then he goes to another team and the injuries crop up again. And there were injury questions with Lin heading into his days with the Charlotte Hornets. And then he has that breakout season and then goes and his body falls apart on him. And I think that, to me, that's what you worry about, even though DSJ younger than I think Lin was at the time. Still, the injury issues they don't just go away. And this thing with his ankle was a fluke thing, but he's had all kinds of injury issues over his career. And so if you commit to 2 years and, you don't get a ton of games played, I think that would be difficult to justify. So I think maybe, if he were amenable to, completing out this year, and then if he stays healthy, look at next offseason and say, all right, let's do a 1 year or maybe even a 2 year after that. But I wouldn't commit to 2 years right now. John said, yeah, he's only 24 years old, but he was drafted young, and he has had the multiple injuries at nearly every stop. Trade Jalen or PJ for some of those shooters in OKC. Yeah, I mean, I think, again, how active they're going to be on the trade market is really going to depend on how, if they're good enough where they feel like they can make that lead to the playoffs, or if they're so bad that they feel like they have to get into tank mode. And that's such an interesting in terms of franchise building, knowing when to make, Clifford talks all the time about knowing when to pass, shoot. That kind of decision making is so key in the NBA when you're playing. When you're building a team, I think it can be the same kind of thing, knowing when knowing when your organization is ready to compete. I think they've waited too long, honestly, to compete. I think they should have probably. Why are the Jabberwockies are always at my games? It's crazy. Every game. They live to follow the Hornets around. Knowing when to make those kind of decisions is key. All right, here we go. LaMelo Ball playing well. 50% from three, 50% from the field. Miles Turner, okay, key player. He's only got 2 points. He does have 2 blocks. He did erase 2 possessions pretty effectively. That were going to be sure fire buckets. Overall, though, 36% from the field. Don't love that. Love the 4 steals, though. Trade Rozier for a shooter. Yeah, I mean, easier said than done, right? I mean, he's on a longer term contract, and I think the Lakers have shown interest in him, but the Lakers have no shooters. They need a shooter. Trading a shooter for a shooter is tough. But I think they have this interesting conundrum with DSJ in that, oh man, I tried to switch there and I forgot I'm on player lock. So I've player locked on LaMelo here. Go Kelly. Go Kelly. I'm going to erase my lead by player locking on LaMelo and depending on others. This is going to be the conundrum for LaMelo his entire career. When do I take over? Oh, look at D. D. I needed some help there. That's actually a decent defensive possession right there. Oh, nobody on this side of the floor. Oh, man, I almost called for it. Oh, but Rozier delivering. Splash. Almost called for that. Let me go run and get on my assignment. Oh, good blocking out. Let's go. All right, I'm going to run this for Rozier. Just a little floppy play here. Come on. Oh, nope. Oh, little Iverson. Oh, I didn't mean to pass that. Honestly, I didn't know that Terry was going to pass that up to me. My fault, my fault. Kevin, what's up, my guy? Thanks for jumping in the chat. If you got a question about the Hornets, I've been taking them during timeouts and stuff. Oh, tried one move too many. One move too many. Shot clock violation. Shout out Rick Bonnell. Would always point out the shot clock violations. But that's when they were kind of a thing with a really inept Bobcats team. All right, now I'm Teo Maladon, which is like, I mean, I love being. Oh, nice pass. Let's go, Teo. Teo, gotta let go. I want to celebrate and live my life. Shooting with Teo, passing with Teo. Tyrese, you ain't got nothing for Teo's D. Yes, what I like about Teo is that he's kind of been, I mean, like, I'm sorry. We'll see tonight, but I just can't believe that Goga's that good now. I mean, he has just been so good. But what I like about Teo is that he's been a little bit quiet, but then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened there. That was some ultimate drop defense there by Nick, not guarding Tyrese on the line, but it worked. Run through. Terry's got his groove back in this third quarter. Terry's got his groove back in this quarter. Yeah, John, I mean, that's the difficult part with all these, like, kind of trade discussions that people have been putting in the chat. It's like, you got to have a willing partner. And, I mean, you know, what in Terry or Hayward's season would really say, all right, yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. Now, obviously I think Terry's going to come through and improve this season, but it might, take some patience. Okay. Get in there. Oh, PJ with the floater. Size, got him on the mismatch. Forced the switch. I haven't checked the box score, but I'm sure PJ has actually played really well in this one. Some good matchup opportunities for him, honestly, I think, against Jalen Smith. Because, obviously it's going to be tough for Mason to score unless it's in transition against Miles Turner. Unless, LaMelo does a really good job of pulling off Miles Turner in the pick and roll. But I think, honestly, there's going to be some really great opportunities to get Washington some scores against Jalen. So I don't see Jalen as mobile enough to really hang with PJ. But could be some good rebounding opportunities with Jalen against PJ. I'm chasing. Oh, good D. Gimme. I should have just gone straight with that. We'll take it to the line here. I need to practice. Oh, no. Why? The first free throw. The first free throw gets me every time. Why am I so scared of that stupid meter? I just want to shout out anyone that stuck with me. Well, again, there's a lot of game left to play here. But anyone who stuck with me through this 2K experience. Oh, man, I did that. Oh, my gosh. I'm getting bailed out by an absolute nightmare game for Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know why I just did it. Yeah, I just really want to shoot with Teo. I almost made that one. I don't think that was a bad shot necessarily for Teo. Teo's just laying off Tyrese. Probably. All right. Got to get a good look here. Probably could go 2 for 1 maybe. No, too late to go 2 for 1, so we're going to hold it. Run through. Move, Kelly. Oh, my God. Kelly's got to move there. Oh, shoot. Got back cut. Didn't pay for it. Oh, you have to get that rebound. Now, some things on 2K are not realistic, but if you've watched the Hornets this season, that's been realistic. Clock winding down, all you got to do is finish one more possession, and you take a little bit more of a lead into the next quarter, into the final frame, into winning time, and you can't secure a rebound. Those just sort of narrative moments of a game when you have an opportunity to put things away. The bench not stepping up, not getting physical enough, not moving guys, get a body on a body, get some contact, move them out of the lane, get the rebound. Man, I'm telling you, the Pacers have absolutely bailed me out in this game. Missing free throws. Tyrese Halliburton has been, there's been some good defense here and there, but Tyrese has been an absolute, has been having a nightmare, has not been a nightmare. Can't wait to see DSJ and LaMelo play together, says Cool Kev. Yeah, I think it's going to be, I think it might illuminate some things, Seeing them play together and seeing what putting a little bit of extra defensive effort and ball pressure next to LaMelo Ball, over the course of time, if it looks better, it's not going to happen overnight, but, if you get down to playoff time, if they, again, I'm pipe dreaming here, folks. Allow me to pipe dream. But if they do pull things back together somehow and you get into a play-in situation or you get into a playoff situation, that's the time when you make some, you look at how things have gone over the course of a season and you start to make some determinations leading up into the playoffs about okay, where are my best units? And if the numbers show that, I'm going to go back to, if the numbers show that LaMelo, DSJ, better defense overall, that's when you can justify the change closer to playoffs time. Again, if you're in contention, you can justify that a little bit closer to playoff time than you can, this close to the start of the season. Okay, let's go controller settings. All right, folks. Here we go. Oh, yeah, draw the foul. This is what apparently was a focus for LaMelo Ball in the offseason. What do we do to draw a foul? He consulted with some experts in the referee game to figure out what it takes to draw that foul. Okay, hit the first free throw. Let's go. John, question. Doug, when did you start to get into sports journalism? Well, I poked around in that area in high school. It wasn't something that carried over into college. I was more into theater and broadcast. And that part of my background probably brought me into the podcasting game overall. I was working a kind of a terrible production, and you know, most starting production jobs are terrible, just the hours and some of the work. And so I was working one of these like terrible editing, producing jobs, and just needed some hobbies to kind of get through my day. And so I started podcasting with some friends on what were then the Bobcats and the Panthers, and we had a little podcast called, oh my gosh, Kelly, what a move to the rim, strong over Nemhard, and the foul. Let's go. So I started podcasting in 2013, and we did that podcast, and then the Bobcats were going to become the Hornets, and so I shifted the podcast more towards the Hornets. That is so quick. More towards the Hornets, and then from there, I just would move the podcast to what made sense. So we got picked up by Queen City Hoops, which was then the like True Hoop blog, which is associated with ESPN. So that gave us a little cred. And then when that all fell apart, I moved it to At the Hive. Get that board. Let's go, Mason Stronk. And then from there, I got hooked up with David Locke because we were already doing some daily stuff. And he was like, hey, oh man, whoops. Wow. How did he get over for that block? He was already doing some daily stuff. We were already doing some daily stuff, and we joined the Locked On Network. And then really from there, I mean, you know, sports journalism, I don't know if I would call that what I necessarily do. You know, I kind of come at it from drop off. Nice. This is going to be tough, though. I don't really call like sports journalism what I do. I'm more of like fanalist. You know, I don't play by some of the same rules that the straight journalists do. Like, I tried when I was doing Locked On Hornets several years ago. I got, you know, I worked with the team and got credentialed. I could just talk through this because I'm never hitting these free throws. And I got credentialed with a team, and I did the beat writing thing. Well, I wasn't writing, I was beat podcasting, but I was going to every home game. I wasn't traveling with the team. I didn't have that kind of money. Still don't. But I was doing the beat podcasting thing where I would go to all the home games, and it was just a grind. I mean, I really respect anyone that does beat writing. That's when, you know, struck up a friendship with Rick Bonnell. Really, like, respected a lot of what he did, despite the criticisms that he got. I should have shot that. And had to stop doing it because it was just wearing me out because I was doing a full-time job as well. So, you know, if you don't have any connections, you know, like you didn't study journalism and you want to get in, I would just, you know, At the Hive, I feel like is always looking for talented people to kind of do some stuff. Now, you're not going to get paid a ton, you know, but if you do have some background in it and you have, you know, some cred, you can always start a Substack like I did, Every Hornets Box Score, and have people subscribe for free for a while. But, you know, I mean, it's a grind, and it's taken me a long time to even build the pot. Now, thank you. Oh, no, PJ. Now, see, this is what I said earlier. I said PJ is going to have some offensive opportunities versus Jalen Smith, but the rebounding is going to be an issue at that position, I think. I need a big three here. Let's go. I need a big three, and I didn't even get the cutaway. Let's go, Terry. Certified gamer. He is back, baby. Tough. Got the switch. Got the switch. So, so John, I would say, like, you know, work on your craft. Do it every day. I mean, that's, you know, it's part of the beauty of the podcasting stuff that we're doing now is that we do it every day. You know, you can start a Substack for free, do that, and just, you know, have something interesting to say or write about, have a different perspective, try to find different angles and wrinkles that nobody else is talking about. And then, you know, energy plus time. There's going to be a lot of, you know, I think they're going to. Let's go. Oh, my. Boom. Bang. What? Drew the whole defense down. Oh, my. LaMelo Ball. I mean, hey, it's been a big difference in my ability to play 2K is having someone as talented as him to toss the ball to. God, he's getting PJ getting killed. Here we go, 2-11. Ah, he got me. Need it again. Help. Jeez. Oh, my. Yes! Tsunami! Oh, the three-point shooting. Just closing him out. Okay, buddy. Toss it. Go. I probably shouldn't have gone into the 2-point line. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, John, hit up Substack, man. And just write. Just write every day. Write something. That'd be my big piece of advice. A lot of people say, like, don't work for free. And I totally agree with that. If you have some, like, if you've gone to college for your craft and you've, you have some credentials. But if you're just trying to get into it because you have something interesting to say and want to express it, you know, I think working for a blog like At the Hive and getting some reps in, it's not a bad thing. But yes, if you have a college degree, you should absolutely get paid for what you do. Oh my God, Terry, no. Ugh. I mean, it was good look, too, and everything. All right, got to play D here. Oh, way to step up, Melo. Way to step up. Navigate through those screens. Healed. Oh, my God. Oh, little hack of Plumlee. Was that a little hack of Plum? Okay. That doesn't send me the line, though, right? That was fourth team, first in the final two. Okay, here we go, yeah. Okay, you can... There we go. All right. Here it goes, folks. The free throw line. My nemesis. The only thing that can beat me in this game. Here we go. Yes! Conquered. Thank you, Boo. Dude, LaMelo Ball was excellent in this game. Terry Rozier was good. Kelly. I don't know that there was a bigger three than that Kelly three. Because it was contested and I didn't get the cutaway. So I don't think it was like quite the perfect release. All right, let's look down at the chat here. Trashy play, 6'9", nice. I think LaMelo can learn to play off ball. He has before. Well, yeah, I mean, he's, you know, what works between him and Rozier is that both can play off ball, both can play on ball. I mean, I think that flexibility is what really makes him a talented player. And, you know, LaMelo's size also affords him that ability. He's much bigger than, or at least, again, on 2K, he looks much bigger than Tyrese. So that's an advantage in this game, I think. Yeah, John, yeah. Hit when you do the Substack, you can recommend different pages. So recommend every Hornets box score. When you get it set up, you know, post it in the comments to one of the videos. The next preview video that I do, come back if you set up the Substack, let me know, and I'll check it out. What do I think of Bryce McGowan's? I think he should take Book Knight's spot. I think he should too. I think he should at least get an opportunity. I mean, I just don't think it could be worse. So if you wanted to give a look at a guy like Bryce McGowan's as soon as tonight, would that necessarily be a bad thing? I don't think so. I'm right there with you. You know, I mean, I don't think at 4 and oh boy, huge. I don't think at 4 and 11 you really have like some luxury to say, well, you know, we really can't play a Bryce McGowan second round pick. And by the way, look at, you know, Nebhart. Nebhart's starting for the Indiana Pacers. They're 6-6. He's a second round pick. I'd love to get Bryce a look. If you don't live in Charlotte, does that matter to the Hive in terms of doing this stuff? No, I mean, James Plowright is one of the leading voices. He does stuff for SI now. No, SI is not what it used to be, but still SI. Plowright's over in the UK. He's across the pond. I think people in Charlotte or Hornets fans in general, number one, are all over the place, especially since LaMelo came. And number two, I think people in Charlotte just respect people who have interesting things to say and do the work. You know, I think to me that's the biggest thing, like doing the work every day, showing up, talking about every game. You know, there's not enough of that. You know, we have, you know, Rod doing a good job on the beat, but then, you know, you got At the Hive, but I think there's still a gap for, you know, people out there finding their lane to do, you know, a particular kind of analysis. You know, some more video analysis. I think there's a gap for that. But I think people just respect people who work hard and say interesting things. I don't think it's about being in Charlotte. I mean, certainly being in Charlotte, you can provide a certain unique perspective by going to games, you know, that kind of thing. But I don't think it precludes you by any stretch of the imagination. Folks, are they going to foul? They're going to foul? They're going to let me run it out? This is the first dub since I did the first one of these against the Spurs. Oh, man, it feels good. It feels good, folks. 50-43. 24 in the first, 26 in the second. But I mean, the big number, 43. I put up some pretty good defense, I think. Player on player. I got a lot better on defense. And the Hornets, they get an opportunity because Tyrese Halliburton is not coming out of the gate. He wasn't really I don't think he was moving the basketball a ton. I'm going to look at the box score. Oh, yeah, Plumlee. Talk to him. He better not get player of the game, though. So Plumlee, in my only win, got player of the game. 4 points in 18 minutes. I'm not sure why we're talking to Mason Plumlee right now. All due respect to Plumlee, because he's a guy, you know, like me, that can't grow mustache down, you know, in this like middle part where I don't know what you would call those, like divided stash bros. I can't grow any hair like right under the bottom of my nose. I don't know why. But so we're connected in that way. But at the same time, we need to be talking to LaMelo Ball. Like, what are we doing? Was LaMelo busy? He was busy getting buckets. 16 points. Booyah! 4 assists, 2 rebounds. Let's extrapolate that. If he does that in the second half, that's 32, 4. He should have had a lot more rebounds. I mean, Mason, he's going to have a lot more rebounds than Mason Plumlee. I was probably playing him for the outlet a lot, you know, trying to get him out so that we could run. But, you know, Plumlee getting 14 rebounds is impressive, but I think, you know, LaMelo's and the actual game is going to have more. So, yeah, I mean, 32 and 8 assists, I'll take that. 2 steals, 4 turnovers, 3 of 5 from 3, 5 of 7 from the line. I mean, 0 of 3 from the line from Kelly. I got to figure that out. I got to take that in the gym because his is like the shot meter doesn't come up till very late, and then it hits. It's very quick. So, got to figure Kelly out there. But, man, no bigger 3 than Kelly's in the fourth quarter. Who came up in winning time? Look at that. Oh, that's third quarter. Fourth quarter, yeah, Ball. All right, 8 points. 5 for Kelly, though, in that fourth quarter. Gangbusters. Let's look at the Pacers. Buddy Hield. I didn't even notice. A quiet 18, if that's possible. 4. See, here's why I didn't notice, though. 16 three-point attempts and a half, essentially. Wow. Buddy, maybe take a 2 every once in a while. I mean, only took 3 2-point attempts. Oh, but I mean, the big thing is Halliburton going 0 of 10. Wow, I think if I run this back 10 times, Halliburton's probably, not shooting under 30 again. So, got lucky there with Halliburton only scoring 2 points, but also good defense. I felt like we did a good job dropping back, containing him. It's going to be key. I mean, I think what the Hornets have done good defensively this season has been their ability to key in on particular players and take them away. They've actually been super successful at that. What they haven't been successful at is once they accomplish that, getting to that secondary or tertiary rotation, where you can cover those outside shooters that are going to be open by virtue of the fact that you've sent a double or, even shading. They do a lot of that where they're not necessarily doubling Kevin Durant. They're not necessarily doubling Dame, but they're just sending Mason or PJ 1 or 2 steps away from their assignment to shade. That way, if Dame or KD decides to drive, they're going to immediately take that away. So forcing them to make early decisions with the ball. The problem is when they make those decisions, they're good players, so they're going to make good reads. But not being able to recover quick enough has been a problem. So, you wonder with a lot of three-point talent, do they try, to guard Halliburton straight up and see what happens in the first quarter, or do they try to throw some different looks at Halliburton to force the ball out of his hands? As we said on the show today, he's averaging over 10 assists, so he can pass it. But if you can choose, if you can choose one thing for him to do, not score 40 or, have 10 assists, you probably, all right, let's have him get 10 assists and maybe 10 points. That would be the more ideal double-double. Trashy says, I think they should find a way to upgrade Taylor Maladon to a full contract instead of a 2-way. Yeah, I mean, they have the open roster spot, so they certainly could do it. But I think, waiting affords them a particular flexibility that they're probably not going to do it until their hand is forced, which it will be at some point. And I think they'll do it. Teo, Clifford's a huge fan of Teo. He does really nice things. In fact, with DSJ gone, Teo has done a really good job of stepping into DSJ's shoes and providing more ball pressure and knocking down a few shots here and there, but really being more of a defensive presence than he's been when DSJ's in the game. So, I like players like that who can kind of adapt. All right, this player's out. I got to take, a bit of a chameleon, because that's what happens when you get guys who can play on both ends of the floor. Then you can decide one night, no, Teo, we actually need a little bit more offense, a little bit more facilitation from you. Or, hey, we actually need you to really focus up and lock in on defense. So, obviously you would love like uber talented players who can do both all the time. But, they don't, you don't sign guys like that 2 days before the season like you did Teo. So, John, got to let Teo develop. Yeah, he's so young. I mean, what was OKC thinking? Oh, that's right. They were thinking he's posting really, really bad numbers. It's so weird. Like, guys, look, I mean, that's the thing with Bouknight, right? Bouknight's awful for the Charlotte Hornets. Malik Monk was awful for the Charlotte Hornets, and he goes other places, and you're not going to it's rare that a player just completely transforms into another type of player when they go to a different situation, but it's not altogether rare that a guy gets a different opportunity, different system, different players that he's playing with, and that affords him a little bit more space here, a little bit more ability to do something else, and all of a sudden they get into a little bit of a groove. I mean, players progress for a lot of reasons, and it's not just solely because they're working a little bit harder in the gym. It's because, things are different in every single organization. Certain things are the same, but other things are different. All right, cool. It's been fun. It's always fun when I win. So hopefully I can keep it going here and get a little bit better and maybe up the difficulty level. But beating the Pacers, I mean, this was going to be a tough matchup. And hopefully I can keep it going with the predictions, because I won against Spurs. They won. I lost against the Knicks. They lost against the Knicks. I think I did this against Portland, and they lost. So hopefully I've just predicted a Hornets victory, although I wouldn't bet on that. I don't know what the bet online line is for this game, but I'd probably stay away from it. But if LaMelo Ball can drop 32, I think they have a much better chance than not of getting the dub. Okay, folks, thanks for hitting up the chat. Thanks as always for supporting Locked On Hornets. If you haven't yet, check out my Substack, which is everyhornetsboxscore.com. I go back and take a look at historical box scores, but more importantly, maybe right now, since the season's going on, I do game notes on every single game. Sometimes I have to call in a sub like David Walker or Nada Edwards, but they always deliver good content. So the game notes are fun. Check them out. In fact, I opened the last one because the Hornets broke the streak. I opened the last one free to all subscribers. So you can go and get a preview of what those game notes look like for a regular season game and decide if you want to subscribe. $5 for the month, a cup of coffee. I can't get out of a coffee shop, by the way, now. I mean, you go to a gas station. Even a gas station coffee is like $3 now, but I can't get out of a coffee shop for $5 anymore. Inflation. Killing me. But $5 cup of coffee every month, and you get to hang out with me every game, essentially. You get to hang out with my brain because you'll get to look at my game notes for the game. Some of it's funny. Most of it's insightful. A lot of highlights. A good way to kind of just recap a game. Maybe if you miss a game, it's a good tool. Everyhornetsboxscore.com. Follow us on YouTube. Here at Locked On Hornets, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, tell your friends. We need some word of mouth going on. If the Hornets do start winning, we need to lay the groundwork now. Go tell a Hornets fan about what we're doing here, about these 2K game stream previews, about the fact that we're on every single day. Who does that? That's nuts. We talk about the Hornets every single day. You know why? Because we love it. Like, we genuinely love it. Yes, they're paying us. Yes, they put money in our bank account every month. That's a cool thing. It's cool to be paid for doing something you love. But Walker and I both enjoy talking ball, and Walker and I genuinely enjoy each other's presence. We enjoy making the show. I've been getting into kind of music making and beat making and different things like that. So I'm going to premiere for the Box Score Boogie. I'm working on cooking up a little bit of an intro and a bed for that. Getting some more. Not this song that's playing right now, but another bed that I use for the Every Hornets Box Score podcast. That bed I made myself. So I'm kind of tinkering with that using Logic Pro and some different tools. John's here. I'll take one more. John, kind of random, but what were your thoughts on? It says MGK, but I'm going to think that that's MKG. My thoughts are that obviously he was second fiddle to Anthony Davis. You came in with hoping that he could transform the defense. He did at certain points. Obviously, couldn't stay on the floor. A little bit like Gordon Hayward in terms of the frustration that fans had at times with his ability to stay on the floor. But and he gave up his body a lot to do that. It was kind of like Gerald Wallace crash. The way he drove the rim was like, that guy's gonna get hurt. But obviously the big storyline for MKG was his shot form. It did improve. There was that like one shining moment where he came back from injury and played 7 games. It was like knocking down 3-point shots all over the place because he worked with some of the shooting staff here under Clifford, which included Kreitzer, but it also included, oh boy, I'm dropping the name, one of the more famous shooters in history. You're catching me in a post-game win days. Why am I thinking Mark Davis? That's not at all right. Somebody's gonna drop it in the chat though, and but obviously Cavaliers legend. Just can't think of the name right now. But got him in and transformed his shooting for a moment, but again couldn't stay healthy, so had to go. One of the more disappointing draft picks in Bobcats / Hornets history. And there was a little bit of a reprieve there, by the way, where we thought the draft was starting to get better. And now I think there's some question marks again. So that's why I think the onus really is on this organization to start making some moves in the trade market. Because that's how you get, you can't just draft your way to success. I don't think you can draft your way to success unless you get lucky enough where you're one of the teams that wins the lottery on a Victor Wembanyama, or you're lucky enough like the Hornets were to win on LaMelo Ball. Like that was extremely fortunate. So you do that, and then to me that should signal, okay, we got lucky. Let's not expect to get lucky again. Let's go out and actually put a force behind LaMelo Ball and quit waiting on this team to these young players to magically turn into all-stars. Why don't you just go find some all-stars to put around LaMelo Ball who's already an all-star? I just think I don't know if the team complicates it out of some need to do things on the cheap. I'm kind of inclined to think that that's what's going on, or if they're just trying to get too cute. But I think, if the Hornets end up losing ball and getting no real playoff success, that it will go down as one of the more disappointing things and could really harm, I think, the faith of the fan base. I don't want to say forever, but certainly, for a long time. It would take a lot to move things back into the right direction. Okay, but that's a negative. I'm not going to end on that. I'm going to end on a positive, which is I think the Hornets get the win. Why not against the Indiana Pacers? They do what I did here and lock down Tyrese Halliburton, get them all frustrated, get them taking a bunch of three-point shots, not getting to we closed the paint off. I think that's a big deal. We didn't get any blocked shots, but we did a good job of clogging the paint, making sure they didn't get any layups, and we didn't turn the basketball over. Only 2 for LaMelo. Did I have any other turnovers in this game? I don't think so. No turnovers. I mean, I almost had no turnovers for the whole game. LaMelo only had 2. So, no Gordon Hayward, no Dennis Smith Jr., no Cody Martin, no problem. Hornets get the win. Thanks for joining me. I'll talk to you again. Go Hornets.